overview of Texas and OU. And let's go Quinn Ewers first, right? Just for the simple fact, he had a huge game against OU last year, and they're ranked slightly higher. So we'll talk Quinn Ewers first. And before we talk about his keys and what he needs to do to have success against Oklahoma, let's talk about Oklahoma's defense and talk about what they've been able to do and the success they've been able to have. And if you look at Oklahoma's defense and Texas defense, or hell, just both teams, if you look at the power rankings, you look at actual rankings and just how their offenses rank, their defenses rank, they're really similar to each other. So I expect a really good game. But with that said, Oklahoma's defense, the three best teams Oklahoma's faced so far, Cincinnati, Iowa State, and SMU. They probably have the best three defenses. Neither of those offenses are great. Excuse me, they have the three best offenses that Oklahoma's faced. Neither of those offenses are great. Still, legit offenses though, and the most any team has scored in Oklahoma is 20, and that was Iowa State last week. Big takeaways from Oklahoma's defense: lots of pressure. Already over 100 total pressures. Pressures include hurries, sacks, anything to disrupt the passer. Already 100 in total of those this season so far, with 11 sacks. And they've been able to force 10 interceptions already, right? So you can kind of tell the pressure that they've been able to get is leading to interceptions. They're only giving up 212 pass yards a game and barely over 100 yards rushing a game. So this Oklahoma defense is pretty stout. You can tell it's taken a step from last year. They're really kind of coming into their own, essentially, under Coach Venable. So I think they're going to get a pretty good defense that Texas is facing, that Quinn Ewers is facing. Again, pass rush, pressure, and forcing interceptions have been kind of their MO in these first few games. Not first few games, I guess first 5 games, right? So with that said, what are the keys for Quinn Ewers? What does he need to do to have success against this type of defense? Where I think it's kind of what he's been doing this past season. That's kind of using his legs, right, to his advantage. Using that new athleticism, essentially, to his advantage. I think that can slow down the pass rush. And I'm not even necessarily talking about running. Yeah, I think maybe you can call some plays, or he can have a few scrambles and use his legs. But I'm talking more about moving within the pocket, right? I'm talking about more what we've seen as of late, where he's, he's scrambling but not looking to run, scrambling, looking to throw. You've seen him do that, more and more as of late, especially this season. So I think that new athleticism, for lack of a better term, is a good way to slow down this pass rush, using his legs. Maybe some partial rolls. We saw some of that against Kansas, where it's like a little half roll. The offensive line set up pass protection on one side of the field, and he's able to get the ball out quickly. So I think using those legs is going to be another key for Quinn Ewers. And he's already in. And I know I mentioned more so within the pocket, but I would expect to see him run the ball a little bit against Oklahoma. I mean, with the long touchdown run that he had against Baylor, or against Kansas last week, he's shown that it's a legit key he can use now. He already has 5 rushing touchdowns this year. Last year he had 1. Right, so I think that's a huge improvement. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him use his legs more running, but also, of course, just in the pocket and moving in the pocket. That's what's really stood out to me about him so far. Key number 2. Continue to do well against the blitz. He's been really, really good against the blitz. They haven't had a ton of pressure on him, or at least Texas hasn't given up a ton of pressure. 20% of his dropbacks have ended with pressure some way, shape, or form. But I think to continue to do well against the blitz, if OU does blitz and does try to get pressure, which I think they will do. Against the blitz, he's 43 of 60 for 499 yards and 6 touchdowns. Those are outstanding numbers against the blitz. Now, just because he's doing well against the blitz doesn't mean he does well against pressure, right? You can send people, you can blitz a backer or a DB and not get pressure. So all that's doing is creating space for Ewers to throw to, but he's been excellent against the blitz. Some quarterbacks aren't very good against the blitz, even if there's no pressure. The fact someone coming kind of messes with them, but Ewers has been fantastic. So continue to do well against the blitz. Again, 43 of 60, 499 yards and 6 touchdowns against the blitz. If you can get the ball out quick, then those blitzes won't, lead to pressure. All right, key number 3, which has to do with the run game. I think you obviously want to get the run game going. But if the run game can get going, which it has in the past, and the run games look great, then you can continue to use the play action. Excuse me. Something that OU does well, just like Texas, is they use the play action. And excuse me, can't talk. But Quinn Ewers has been very, very good on play action. 49% of the pass plays have come off play action. So if Oklahoma can stop the run game, that's going to negate the play action. That's going to limit the passing scheme, essentially, if OU can stop the run game. So a big key for Texas, get the run game going so you can execute your play action. 6 of Quinn's 10 touchdown passes have come off of play action. So they like to throw off play action. A lot of the passes are off play action. So again, if you're Texas, if you get the run game going, you can continue to use play action. OU is going to try to stop the run game, obviously, but then that will help the play action not be as successful or effective against that defense. So if you're Quinn, I think if you're Longhorns, develop some play action early, get the run game going early, and hopefully that leads to success for them. All right, what are a few more keys? I think another interesting stat, maybe not necessarily a key, is a success that Quinn has had throwing inside the numbers, throwing the middle of the field. So he has 1,358 yards passing total. Of those 1,358 yards passing, 1,054 are inside the numbers. So he's killing defenses inside the numbers, just darting them inside the numbers, right? Just the past few games especially, you've been able to really see that. And so I think OU, it's interesting, right? Is OU going to try to take that away, try to force him to throw outside the numbers? He has the ability to do that if it's taken away, but an easier throw into the numbers is a much easier throw. It's closer. So if the defense is going to give that to you, then he's going to take it. So I just think that's kind of an interesting stat that so many of his passing yards are inside the numbers. Now quarterbacks are going to throw more inside the numbers and outside the numbers, but usually it's not like that big of a difference as far as what Ewers is. That's not a bad thing by any means. The defense has given him those type of passing lanes, and he's taken it. So it's going to be interesting to see if OU takes away the middle of the field. They try to. They even care about that, or not. So this is interesting. Another interesting stat for Ewers, and one more kind of key. Maybe not a key. Maybe I pose this as a question. Does Texas need to take vertical shots? Do they need to hit vertical shots to win against Oklahoma? They haven't really had to take vertical shots to win besides the Alabama game. I think Texas has the advantage. The receivers are some of the best receivers in the nation. You got several NFL guys catching balls from Quinn. So I think you have the advantage there if you want to take those deep shots. Now, Quinn's only 4 of 19 with balls thrown more than 20 yards in the air. But several of those completions came against Alabama and were touchdown throws. So just because you haven't had a ton of success pushing the ball downfield, one, doesn't mean you can't, because you had that success against Alabama, and two, if the offense doesn't call for it, it's maybe not needed as much. Against Baylor, you had 38 points. You didn't need to take shots downfield. Against Kansas, I think you had, I can't remember exactly, you had maybe one downfield, maybe none. I can't remember exactly, but you still didn't need to take a ton of shots downfield. So they've been able to win without doing that. So the question is, do they need to take shots vertically downfield to beat Oklahoma? Let me know in the comments below what you think. But overall, the keys for Quinn, I think it's one, continue to take what the defense gives you, right? And so he's done that using the middle of the field a lot. So if the defense gives you middle of the field, you continue. If they try to take that away, then maybe you throw more outside the numbers. Number two, continue to do well against the blitz. We talked about the numbers that he's put up against the blitz so far. Then number three, using his legs, the first key we talked about. It's been talked about kind of in not a joking matter, but people are like, wow, Quinn, everyone's talking about how athletic he is and he's able to use his legs, and that's true. And I think he can do that to his advantage, but not even in the run game. Yeah, he's probably going to get some yards on the ground, but I just think some partial rolls, able to use his athleticism in the pocket to buy time, to find open receivers, I think is an even bigger key for Quinn Ewers. So with that said, let's transition to